really go, oh, we can't get hurt, we gotta make sure we got this guy, like all that stuff. Like, you gotta play the game of football, and I feel like we did not play the game of football last week. Like now we executed and did all those things, but the game is fast, and you can't go from Saturday playing a real game against fast people to, playing tag football during the week, and then getting to Saturday and expect it to be fast and expect that bang, and there's gonna be bang. So, like I said, I put it all on myself. Now whether that had anything to do with it, I have no idea. We'll find out this week because there was none of that this week. I made that apparent last Sunday. Like, it's my fault. With the coaches, it's my fault. I'd let it happen. So.
Pat, how do you prepare for an atmosphere like what you're going to experience Saturday? I know you can pipe in crowd noise and play John Denver 1,000 times, but how do you get them prepared for just everything from the moment the bus arrives at the stadium that they're going to face?
It's another game. The bus has got 18 wheels or whatever the heck it's got. We're going to roll up into that stadium. We got about a 50-yard walk to get in the locker room. It's not a big deal, okay? And once the game starts, it's over. I think you guys think we hear everything, we see everything. Like, these guys they got jobs to do. If they're looking around like this, they got issues. If they're hearing too much, they got problems. They better be locked into what they have to do, and that's about it. I don't hear anything that's going on. I'm so lasered in. Someone asked me a question the other day. I was like, I have no idea. Like, during the game, I'm locked in. I'm zoned in. I'm in a zone, and you just don't really, it doesn't. As a fan, coming out of the tunnel, maybe you get hyped up. Like, after that, it's over. Really, I don't care if you're, up at Western Michigan going through the tunnel and people are, throwing stuff at you, or, that was, we came out of there and there's people standing right next to me. I hadn't been to a stadium where people are standing right next to me, they're normal fans with a rope. So it doesn't matter what atmosphere you go in. It's all the same.
Now, what have you guys done to fix some of the pass pro issues?
We've had a better week of practice, Jeff. And again, have we fixed them? We'll find out. But like, everybody can talk about the pass pro. We can talk about the quarterback. We can talk about the receiver routes. We can talk about the defense. Like, it is 22 guys. You know what we do to take care of the pass pro problems is run the ball. But you know what we do to take care of the running the ball part of it is we don't fall behind 20-7 or whatever the score was. When you fall behind, you're going to be passing it more, and the defense is pinning their ears back and going. We can't let that happen. That's going to be the key to victory is running the football, being balanced 50-50, not letting them know that we're passing the football, and that corrects a lot. Okay, when you smack them in the mouth and you're putting somebody on their back, that's what you need. When you're going backwards, you're going to continue to go backwards as in the pass set I'm talking. So, that's where it starts is running the football. Like I was talking, it starts with stopping the football or stopping the run. And defensively, we got to stop the run. We can't let what happened last week happen, and that hurt the offense. And you let them, you let them run the ball, you let them drive and score touchdowns. You hurt the offense, and they get in a different mode. And that's not a good mode to get into for anybody.
I imagine there's been times where you've been a coach and you've seen something, but you've trusted your coaches, your fellow coaches, and your players to handle, and it's been handled before. Is that one of the biggest margins of good and great coaching is knowing when to micromanage and when to trust your partners?
Kind of, but there's been times where I've thought it and then it worked out well. It was like, oh, that's good. We got through the week and we did it that way, and maybe we do it again next week, but it doesn't work that way. And again, I think, like I said, it's more of a when. Like, what did we think we arrived after Wofford that we were just going to protect everybody? Like, we didn't do anything yet, and I knew that, but I let it happen.
Speaking of running the football, thinking about the game that Rodney had against his team last year, is there any more motivation to give him the ball this time around?
Again, I'd like to hand the ball off 50 times. Okay, and if it goes 50 times, he's going to have 25 carries, and he'll be exhausted after the night's over. We got to keep the run involved in our run game. Period. In the game, we can't get into a one-dimensional. You turn into a one-dimensional offense. I don't care who it is. We're licking our chops if the team's one-dimensional. That's what happens.
I read a lot this week about the West Virginia offensive line. What have you seen from those guys?
They've got 130 some starts. I mean, they're experienced. They're older guys. Their tight ends are all back. 87's a big dude from. I think LSU transfer. He's 6'7", looks like he's big. He's athletic. I mean, they got their front. I mean, they got what they want to run the football. I mean, and they ran the football this last year, so it's going to be a great challenge for us. We'll find out. They're going to throw their now routes out there. They're going to have a lot of RPOs on the edge, and we're going to have to. When I say stop the run, we got to stop the runs and all the short throws that are going to come off of that. That's what we practiced this week.
Pat,
They-
the offense has taken a little bit of time to get going in both of your games this season. How do you guys address that to make sure, there's not a 3-and-out or a punt after that first series?
Well, we'll get going faster. It's been an emphasis this week. It was an emphasis last week. One of our keys to victory was start fast. We just didn't. So we can talk about it. We have to go out and operate it. Yeah, Chris.
Do you feel like you guys have go-to plays? Oh,
You're
sorry.
there.
Do you feel like you guys have go-to plays that can be like, your start fast plays yet, or is that something that's still in development right
I
now?
think it's still in development. We'll figure that out, but I think we're getting closer.
He's Chris too, so I mean, I'm sure it worked.
True.
You mentioned West Virginia ran on you last year. The next week you came out, I think held Tennessee to like 90 rushing yards or something like that. Is that an example of how you had that first game, you kind of saw where the holes were, you were able to repair it, and kind of what you're trying to do this week?
Yeah, if you remember me talking after last year's game, it wasn't that we were that bad. It was just like the first it was coming out of camp and doing it, and probably like coming out of Wofford, we really didn't know we could play slow, maybe still stop them. I think that's part of it. They'll be licking their chops based on the way they ran it and what they saw last weekend. So it'll be a great challenge for our defense.
After the Wofford game, you said you wanted to see Phil maybe run more, and he said, following Cincinnati, that he thinks he could do more in the run game. Do you still want him to be running a little bit more?
Yeah, I want him to do it when it's right, and it's, we talked about that one scramble where he took a hit going to his left and he was up in there. I can't believe he held on to the ball. It's a heck of a play. It's a strong man. But I wish he would have, taken off and run that one, but he didn't have the angle Coach Signetti thought. So there's all those. He's got to make that decision, If we tell him to run, there's times he should be throwing it. I mean, he's made some unbelievable passes in that game, too. I mean, some of those touchdown passes was like, whoa, well, those are some big-time throws. But we're going to focus on the things he could have done better, and again, as we know, it wasn't all on him.
But on the note of Phil, do you think that his experience and having been around the block gives you guys a little bit of an advantage when you consider all the circumstances, coming off a loss, playing on the road against a rival? Does that experience give you guys a little bit of an edge here?
I don't know if it gives you an edge, but, you feel comfortable with it. I know who Phil is as a person. I know what kind of, I know what's in his heart. I know who he is, and that's the thing I feel comfortable about. So he's got to go out and do it on the road. I know he loves to play. He's been excited all week about playing on the road, and he loves that atmosphere, which I think a lot of our kids do. I mean, they're excited.
What are the keys that your defensive front has to watch for that their offensive line likes to do to try to control the line of scrimmage?
It's not keys. It's really just playing our game. We got to play with leverage. We got to attack. We got to attack them up front. We got to get penetration and cause havoc in the backfield. I think that's the main thing. Our linebackers got to get downhill, and they got to all be on the same key. So, that's what's important about that. Do your job. Everybody's got to do their job.
This game last year kind of was the moment where MJ really burst on the scene. How have you seen him maybe change or develop as a person, as a player, since his big moment from the brawl last year?
That big moment is, long past. We'll be watching that in 20 years ago, and that was a great play, but, nobody cares what happened in 2022. I could give a darn. I can tell you that. It doesn't matter. Like, you can go from hero to zero real quick, okay? It doesn't really matter. I mean, it was a great play. He was flying down the sideline, but it's over with. That was a year ago. Like, we're not looking back, we're looking forward.
What about since the time he got here though? How has he grown just as a player into playing corner and being a good corner?
I mean, he's become confident. I don't know if he came to Pittsburgh as confident as he is, but just working every day with Coach Collins and Coach Sanders in the secondary, he's become a much more confident player. He pays attention to the details. He does the little things right. He's a really good cover corner that we hope makes another play on the ball.
What, a couple more before we wrap up?
Pat, are you worried about Greene as a passer?
You know what? Anybody that drops back there, you worry about passers. I mean, if I had to say which one do we have to stop, we better stop his run and all his RPOs off of that run, which that's included in there. So we better be on him. But his ability to run, if you put on a little green highlight tape, running counter and slipping through tiny little holes this big, he's got great vision for a quarterback. He's like a running back that's taking a snap. It's Wildcat. He's really, really good. I haven't seen a lot of quarterbacks as nifty as he is in the called run game. And then he'll scramble. He likes to scramble to the right, to the left. He'll scramble everywhere.
Speaking of the secondary, Donovan McMillan stepped up last week against Cincinnati. What do you like out of his game so far this season? Do you expect him to do the same against West Virginia?
I do. He's had another good week. I think he just continues to get more confident in what we're doing, how he's doing it. He's practiced well. He's fixed things that we wanted to fix since August started, and really back to spring ball. So he's just become more confident. And I'd like to say he's a gamer too. When he gets out there, he's playing ball. I mean, he enjoys it, and it's really good to see.
You looking forward to Bostic's pregame speech?
I don't know. I've heard some Bostic pregame speeches. I don't know. I'll share something with you afterwards.
Nice vote of confidence for the audience.
Bostic will do a great job. He'll do a great job. I know how he is. He's intense. I'm looking forward to it.
Anything else before we wrap up? All right, appreciate everybody joining us. Look forward to